What's up, guys? Wait. Oh, yeah. I'm like, how do I start my videos again? All right. What's up, guys? It's Katrina, aka Ninni, and I'm here today with my good friend Sierra Parr, who has this really f***ing awesome podcast called Lemon Soul, and she's interviewing me today about my YouTube channel, about my experiences and stuff like that. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. Guys, Ninni.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
I often call her Ninni or Nai, or I always question myself on how to pronounce your name, but I have been corrected. I've been given a visual representation, so now I really know how to say it. Ninni.
Yeah.
Ninni's in the studio today, and I'm super, super stoked that you're here. She has her own YouTube channel that will link everything at the end of the episode. But her story is all about the grieving process and what her experience has been like. And obviously, I'm going to let her tell her story to you. But I'm just super excited that you're here and that we're finally doing this. And I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm just so excited. Because there's conversation with Ninni. Oh, I'm profusely sweating. I'm never going to stop sweating.
Yeah.
There's no
the
air
was on. You cut it off. I was like, I was sweating before, girl.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I thought about putting this on, and I was like,
no, not a flannel time. I know I want to take this off, but it's a gray shirt, and I'm like, then you're going to really see it.
The pits, it's okay.
And people are like, it's a podcast, but I'm filming this for my own YouTube channel, so.
Yeah, this is the first. This is the first, guys.
Yeah.
We're filming, and it's in a makeshift studio right now. So this is a new thing for us.
Yeah.
In the Lemon Soul Studios.
Yeah.
It's a temporary space. Anyways, okay, we'll do the actual podcast. So I just want to start.
Yes.
I want you to tell your story. What brought you to doing the YouTube channel? What happened?
Okay. I guess I should first say because we're talking about grief.
Yes.
I have a very bubbly personality, and I'm also one that cuts to comic relief very quickly. So if anybody is listening to this and thinks I'm being a little bit too jovial, that's just like my way of coping with things. So when things get a little tough, I'll be the first one to crack a joke. So I'm not trying to take this situation lightly. And I just have to preface with that because some people can be offended. Like no one's ever expressed that to me before, but some people can be offended by that. So basically what happened was in 2014, I was very lucky. Very lucky, like most people aren't on Tinder, because back in 2014, Tinder was like...
Oh, 2014
I
Tinder.
know. 2014 Tinder was like real-time Tinder where you were like meeting people and you were like dating real-time. Like it wasn't like the hookup culture that it is today. But I was on there swiping around. Swiped. I was like, maybe this guy looks cool. I don't know. And like swiped yes on him. Yeah, we'll find out. Swiped yes on him, and that was the beginning of January 2014. And we ended up... his name was Michael, and we, started chatting, we texted, we phone called each other for like a month before we actually met, and that was February 13th. And then from there, this very beautiful relationship started. The first time I had ever been in love, the first time anybody ever loved me, the first time for mostly like anything in my life to be in such like an unconditional, like loving relationship like that. And it was beautiful. It was the best relationship I, could have ever had at that moment. And we were like building our life together and thinking about future things and progressing and growing as humans and like totally supportive of each other. And then by the end of November 2014, he passed away very suddenly and unexpectedly in a car fire. And then from there, my world went into a tailspin. And became supremely depressed, became all the things that, people my age don't, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just really, it was the worst. And going through that process, it taught me a lot about me. It taught me a lot about just life in general. But what I noticed going through that is that I was constantly researching, trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I get better? Okay, I realized, I lost, I was trying to think of it as a very, practical thing, where it was like, okay, this happened, because I think that was my way of coping at the time,
How old were you?
2014, I was 25.
25, wow.
Yeah, mid-20s. So like my coping mechanism was to take the emotion out. Okay, yeah, this happened, and now what's next? And like, where can we go? And let's get ourselves better. And da 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 da. And it's gonna be quick and simple. Okay, he's gone. And then it's just like, no, like that's dumb. Like you can't. Like looking back, like I know why I was thinking that way at the time, but like, it's just.
Yeah, it wasn't what it was going to actually work, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you fool yourself into thinking a lot of things when you're grieving, and every single one of them is complete. Until you like actually face the fact. So,
but do you think that's part of the grieving process?
Oh, 110%, because your mind is like, if you let in all the feelings that you were feeling when it happens, like you would crumble. You would absolutely crumble. So was one of those like mental blocks in my mind that I was like, okay, when you just stay upright, just turn it off and like whatever. So what I realized when I was researching about like, okay, how to deal with the death of a boyfriend, I couldn't find anything coming from any perspective from a grieving girlfriend. Everything was more so directed to grieving widows.
Okay.
And I just thought, well, this is like my relationship, it was still real.
Yes.
It was still very much real. Like we love the shit out of each other. Like just because we weren't married doesn't mean it was an invalid relationship. And so I had it in my mind then that it was like, okay, one day I should make a YouTube video like chronicling my experiences and stuff like that. So when I was well enough, because I was in a grief coma for a solid 2 years after. And then even when you start coming out of that, like things are still cloudy. So it wasn't until earlier this year that I was like, okay, we're going to do this. And like, I have a film background, like, and I have equipment already. Like I can easily do this. It may not look the greatest or whatever, but let's just get it out there. So,
what was the moment that you're like, okay, this, like, I need to just do it. Cause that's like, there's a lot of time of like from thinking the start of it and then like actually putting it, you know, into fruition.
Yeah. So, I don't know if there's any like one moment, but there's just like a bunch of like little moments that lead up to it. Cause it's like, again, I had the first thought like during my first year and getting really frustrated, finding like nothing that I could read that was like, oh, here's what a girlfriend did one time.
Yeah.
And even if I did find an article or something online, it was just an article. And by the end it was like, but now a year later I'm dating somebody and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bitch, I ain't dating after a year. Like, I thought I wasn't going to date ever again. Yeah. So I don't give a fuck that you found somebody. I'm not doing that with my life. So, it's not my article.
No.
Obviously now my thoughts on that have changed, but the moment where I was just like, okay, get it done. My friend needed somebody to sublet her apartment. And I realized that I'm somebody that, like, when I want to do something, I'm very private about it first. Okay. And then I'll tell people after I've done it.
After you've, like, done some research.
Yeah.
And lets it out, maybe filmed a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't do anything for a very long time. And then I didn't want to film because I still live at home with my parents.
Yep.
And I didn't want to film anything and have them, like, be creeping around trying to hear it.
It's
like,
very different.
I'm like, this is my thing. Don't listen to it until I release it. And then
exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a friend of mine needed somebody to sublet her apartment for a few months. And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, I'll do it. And so during those 2 months, that's when I, like, started filming. And then from that point on, it was once a week a video was coming out on some topic of whatever.
Awesome. I want to go back just a little bit, just to touch on the topic of other people, and like you said, your parent, we were just talking about living with your parents, just about the experience of other people and their reactions and their comments and their experience with you having lost someone. What is some advice for people that know someone that is going through a grieving process? You know, what are the right ways and appropriate ways to be supportive? Are there right ways? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's different for everyone, but there's got to be some, you know, foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there is. And I feel like it's a tough question to answer because it's tough to say what's right and what's wrong because every situation is different. Every person is different. But I guess when you do boil that down to it, it's grief in general. I feel like...
I suppose coming from your experience.
Yeah. I feel like for me, when things were happening...
Did you feel like no one understood?
Yeah, for sure. I felt like nobody understood. I felt like, you know, I just wanted to lay in bed all day and my mom would come in like, no, you at least have to sit up. And I'm like, I'm not sitting up today. Sorry, Mom. And like, if they did want me to sit up, they would physically have to move me because I didn't have enough strength in me to do it because I wasn't eating. Because I was depressed, like I would literally have to be like force fed, because that's my thing when I'm depressed. I don't eat. That's my reaction to it. So, you know, I was losing weight a lot. But like in terms of like people saying things to me, I feel like if you've never, and it's really because I don't think somebody would have to go through this to really understand how to handle or just show some compassion.
Right.
So I guess when people were dealing with me, I was just more so like astonished at the lack of compassion that was coming from some people, because it's just, all you have to do is literally think, what would I want, or not what I want, but like, how would I feel if I was in her shoes?
Yes.
I feel like, and you've already started yourself on a great direction to understand like what to do next. Like, I had people come in, and I had somebody come in and they were just like, it was like maybe a month afterwards, and it was like, you need to forget about it, and you need to like move on already and just get a job at a factory and just start moving on with your life. Like, what are you doing?
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's one of those moments where I look back on it now and I'm like,
girl,
Trina had some restraint that day. Like, sorry, that was a peek in the audio. But yeah, so and people like to say like, let it go. And if you love them, let it go. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever been through something like this before, but if I let it go, I will crumble. Yeah. And like, I will not exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, like when so side note tangent. Yeah. I started, like, my friend got me this like yoga package afterwards to like do all that. Yes. And it was like, I hated it.
Girl, we're on the same page.
When I first started doing yoga, I was like, this is and here's all the reasons why, and every yogi can kiss my ass about it. Like, I hated it.
When did you start doing yoga? Like in your afterwards? Like, was this recent or was this like a couple years ago?
It was like shortly after everything happened. I think like so Michael passed at the end, kind of near the end of 2014, and then 2015, my friend got me this like yoga package and whatnot. So it was like 6 months later, within the 6 months. And, when they're just like, take a deep breath in and just let it go. And like, I'm like, I am sitting in a beginner class of yoga. What the you mean when you tell me you let it go, first of all? And bitch, you don't want to see me let it go. Like, do you want me to disrupt this class right now? Like, obviously they don't know what I'm going through, but I'm just like, this whole let it go. Yeah. Anyways, what was your question again?
We don't even ever have to go back to the question. That's the beautiful thing about this. I don't want it to be an interview, right? Like, it's a conversation. Let's just chat.
Okay, all right, So some people are just...
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Shocker.
So yeah, shocker. Some people just suck, and I would say if you know somebody that's going through this right now, like, yeah, you can do your best to help, but sometimes helping does just look like you sitting there with them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes helping is just sending them a text message with a heart in it. Yeah. Sometimes helping is like you going over and like, oh, you're tired? That's fine. I'm going to make you a sandwich right now, and we're going to try to eat something today, because I had to have those people in my life that were doing that for me, and because I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to. I remember like my kumare, kind of like an Italian like grandmother. Okay. Godmother. She came in one day with like a slice of pizza and like some grapes, and she's like, I was eating the grapes, and she's like, no, the grapes didn't give you acid. Now you have to have pizza now, and like whatever. Like she was like trying to get me to eat and whatever, and. There's just like so many like little things that you can do for somebody. And actually somebody just sent me a message recently saying like, I know somebody that's just lost her husband. Like when you were going through this initially, like what were some of the gestures that you appreciated? Mm-hmm. And I was just like, wow, like for somebody to ask that question, I think just shows a lot about who they are as a person. But I think that's a question like you should be asking. So like, it's a hard question to ask and it's a hard question to answer, but some of the gestures were like, yeah, my friend getting me off a Groupon that yoga class package. Like, hey, let's try to do this. Like, I didn't want to take photos anymore. My camera was something I wasn't picking up. And the same friend got me this, like, again, off a Groupon, this like, this online photography class, like just to try to inspire me again. Yeah. And I had a friend that she didn't print off a photo of like me and him, but she got me this like canvas with a guitar on it because Mike was a musician, and she's like, I figure you have a bunch of photos of him, and just like, here's just like something that could be up that's in your house that you can look at and whatever and have a happy thought. And I was like, that's amazing. Like
sounds like you have a like really good group of people around you actually. Mm-hmm.
I mean, sprinkled in with some here and there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Naturally. I had like somebody also like on the day of, because it happened unexpectedly. Okay. And he was young. Yeah. And so when that happens, when there's no history of illness or like them being 107 years old, it's immediately like the rumors start to fly about how it happened and whatnot. And I had somebody sit on my bed the day it happened and look at me and go, I got a message from somebody like saying that people are saying that it's like suicide. It wasn't that, was it? And I was like,
the day that it happened?
The day it happened. Because it happened super late at night. Okay. So like, you go to bed and you try to go back to bed in the morning, and when you wake up, everyone's over at the house because the news had broke at that point. And she was a friend at the time, and I was just like, what is
wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Like, do you not get the severity of the situation? Wow. Like, this is the human I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with, and they're not here anymore.
Yeah.
And you're going to sit there and tell me the fucking rumors that are going around?
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just, there's a lot of dumb things people can say. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know what to say, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Just be there.
Yeah,
offer a smile, give somebody a fucking hug.
Yeah.
And that's that's it. Yeah. Like, go with and I get awkward at funerals and stuff like that when I go through the line, and it's like, what the do I say? And it's just like, you know what? My condolences. I'm so sorry. And like, there would be times I look at people and I get nervous and I'm like, you look gorgeous today. I just want to say your makeup looks amazing. That's such a you thing.
I could 1,000% see you doing that. I'm not even joking.
Because I just get so nervous and I'm just like, I feel like people expect me to know what to say because I have my YouTube channel. And I'm just like, I'm making it up as I go along, really. Or it's just not making it up.
That's
what
an interesting thing, like, to go to
you have to figure it out.
Thinking, oh man, that's
You have to figure it out. So like, when people ask me, like, from your point of view, like, what were some of the things? I guess those were some of the things. Just don't. I mean, the whole idea of like letting it go and move on is so to me. Like that's like, you know, to those people that have said that, like, okay, like, and if you're watching this or listening to this right now, like, you know, just, you know, educate yourself a little bit. It's not the thing to say. It's not ever the thing to say. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, imagine somebody close to you passing away. Like if your mother or father, sister or brother, or somebody close to you passed away, would you forget about that person? Would you forget what they taught you? Would you take all the photos down in your house of them? Would you delete all the photos off of Facebook? Would you, you know, never think or talk about them again? Mm-hmm. No, you wouldn't. You would keep those photos up. You would still talk about them. You would still do all those things, just they're no longer physically there. You would still remember it, you know, and take that with you. So the let it go, move it on. You can move forward.
I would say, you
can move forward from it. Mm-hmm. You're not going to move on. That's like, you know, and we're going to shut this, and we're just going to leave it there. We're going to lock it up tight, never open it again, throw away the key.
Yeah.
You know, like, no.
Yeah. So how has your experience changed in your process? I have another friend who had lost a parent, mm-hmm. and I see her post often. Mm-hmm. And she does not a similar thing, but she has an Instagram mm-hmm. In the same realm. Mm-hmm. And she's always posting, which breaks my heart. I'm very lucky. I have lost friends. Mm-hmm. I haven't lost a person, you know, immediately mm-hmm. within my family or mm-hmm. immediately within that realm. Mm-hmm. It's like you grieve. There's like, it's still with you every day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Every single day. I feel like because it's an awkward conversation to have, you know, it's dead.
Yeah.
And it happens.
Yeah.
And the more we can learn from each other about it.
Exactly.
Like let's get rid of that, like, stigma around it too, because then it, like, leads into mental health as well, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's a whole
circle.
Anyway, sorry, go back.
Yeah, what's your, like, how are you still healing and dealing with it, like, each day 5 years later?
Yeah, I'm a lot better now than I was, like, 5 years ago. Almost 5 years ago now. Now it's, that's tough. Like, when it first happened, I went to counseling.
Yes.
Did that for sure. Mm-hmm. I still, like, so initially it was counseling that I didn't want to go to, because, like, when you admit that you have to go to counseling, you're also admitting that that person is actually really gone. Yeah. And that's really hard to do, just to admit out loud, right? The first step is acceptance, or the first step is denial, or something like that. And whatever, those steps are semi as well, but we'll get into that later.
We'll get there.
But yeah, so it was my parents that brought it up with me, because they had somebody speak to them, because they had a daughter that went through something similar that I think I went to high school with. Yeah, I went to high school with her. And it was like, you know, she said it really helped her and whatever. And then I had a close member of the family, my kumare again, who had lost her husband when I was in high school. And I remember when she walked in my room, I was like, how did you do it? How did you get better? I needed to know, like, immediately. And that was, like, the day one as well. Like, but counseling was the best thing. I did an individual at Canadian Mental Health Association mm-hmm. before I moved on to, like, group therapy or group counseling. Mm-hmm. And you're in that for, like, a few weeks. And then if, like, you wanted to go back, I guess I would just have to message my counselor or something like that. I'm not really sure. Yeah. Because I never went back afterwards. But, like, I still see the girls that... So
you did group therapy after you did individual.
Yeah.
For how long did you do group therapy?
Group therapy was... It was a few weeks. I want to say, like... over a month.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. Maybe it was 8-week thing.
Did you prefer one form of therapy over the other? Or did they give you different things? Like, or did you not like one and like the other?
Well, the individual, they do that, I think, mostly to assess you, to see where you're at. Okay. And then I actually didn't do individual as long as they normally do it, only because she wanted me to get into the group I was in, because there's a lot of other younger people in that group that she was doing. And so she's just my counselor, whose name is Christine McMillan. She's no longer with Canadian Mental Health Association. She like branched out, does on her own now. Okay. She was really great. She just said, go to the first one, and if that works out for you, then we'll keep going. If not, we'll bring you back to individuals. I just know that there's other younger people in this that, because again, they were all married. Okay. And so I just, again, felt like, well, what if they look at me like I'm less than and whatever. So I was like nervous for a lot of other reasons as well. After that, yoga, like I said, thought it was total shit until I did it on my own. And it just...
Until you did it on your own?
Until I did it on my own. Yeah,
like at home in your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my room with the door shut.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I was doing like painting classes because I'm a pretty artistic type of person. So sometimes I would go to the dollar store, spend $10 on canvases and paints and whatever, and paint for a few. Journaling was a huge thing for me. I got hyper spiritual because I did grow up Catholic, but good for you, Catholic Church. You're doing nothing for me right now. Why did you do that? Because then also it's just like, fuck you, God. What's that about, man?
Yeah. So where did your spirituality go? And was it, like, I want to ask almost like what brought you to that? Obviously, I know the reason why, but I guess more of it's like, did you realize the Catholicism wasn't helping and then wanted to look elsewhere, or was it, had you had like an interest in spirituality before?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm that person that's like, and the horoscope today is, and oh, you were born what day, whatever.
I actually, when we first met, remember we were at Caitlin's parents' house party in the backyard, and you astrology and drinks, and you were making drinks.
Yes,
with
my
your
plants and potions thing.
Yes,
yeah, because that was a school project at the time.
Yes. So
yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
I became so I was already that person. But that was actually after it all happened as well. But anyways, I was already that person. Doesn't matter. But I became super obsessed with what happens after we die and where does our soul go. And I believe in mediums and spiritual people like that, 110%. Because I don't believe that when we die, nothing happens.
We're on the same page.
Okay. And there's a universe, something's out there, our souls do some things, but I don't know what it is fully, but they do things. Yeah. So I became I was reading a book called You Are a Medium. And I just wanted to know, I wanted to hear from, her name's Sherry Dillard. I wanted to read that book because she talked about, one of the chapters she talked about, what happens after we pass. And each chapter, I think, was dedicated to different scenarios. So there was a chapter on, if somebody had committed suicide, what their soul, thinks afterwards. If somebody passed through, addiction, what their soul is working on afterwards. So it was kind of set up like that. So everything in each chapter was her in a session with somebody chronicling what the messages that were coming through and the questions that they were asking and stuff. So so I just became super obsessed. So I was reading things like that and researching things like that because I was like, okay, but where did he go? Yeah. And I'm going to see him again, right? When I die one day, he's going to be there. What is he going to be reincarnated? And what if I die, he's not there because he's already reincarnated in in another human body. And if I really practice this, will I be able to reach the spiritual realm one day and have a conversation with him and see him again? And because you do everything you can to try to bring that person back. Yeah. And that's really, I nosedived into spirituality that way. Yeah. And then from there, became super involved in crystals. And I'm one of those people. Yes. Wearing some right now. And then I started my own little jewelry company at one point.
I do remember that.
Yeah, the Atlantean Apothecary. That was me. Because I had a mental breakdown one day and I was just angry at the world and I couldn't anymore. And I was like, Mom, I gotta quit my job. That's where it's coming from right now. That's where it's whatever. So I did that, and then for 6 months I did my jewelry company, and then I started seeing a mindfulness coach. Okay. Yeah. I read that in your intake form. I was like, whoa, that's cool. How did you find them? Awesome. Are you still with him? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He's so great. So he's based out of Stratford. Okay. And what made you go to Stratford? Because it was a family connection. Okay. So I had one of my cousins she was telling me about it because he deals, mindfulness coach, so he deals with people with like stress and anxiety and depression and stuff like that.
Yep.
And stress, anxiety, depression, yeah, present and accounted for. So yeah, and she said, he really helped me and blah, blah, blah. And because I was already in that spiritual realm and like mindfulness I think is totally a part of that as well. In my mind, it's all kind of grouped in one big universal thing. So about acknowledging what's happening in front of you.
Like right now.
Yeah. And so he's really great in that, okay, so obviously you're feeling this anxiety because of the situation. And if we boil it down, it's because you lost Mike. Yeah. And I don't even know how to describe it. And I really want to describe it really well right now because I feel like being mindful is one of those like happy words these days that I'm like, trendy. I hate that I'm a part of this, but it works.
It's the same word as like gratitude.
Oh my God. I want to puke when I hear the word gratitude.
I know, sometimes. But it's a buzzword, but
it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's a real thing.
And it works.
Yeah. I know. Just like yoga. I thought it works.
Exactly.
It works. Exactly. But it's just about, so being mindful too obviously keeps you in the moment, but he also teaches you that, okay, if you're feeling anxiety in this moment, he kind of helps you realize what your triggers are. So you kind of almost backtrack a little bit you do backtrack to hit that like one point in your past that you have to work with, and allowing yourself the time to work with it. Mm-hmm. Because unless you feel that emotion then you're not going to process it.
Yes.
Unless you allow yourself to feel it, you're not going to process it. Mm-hmm. So it's about like going to that like trigger moment, because he describes it as, he's like, it's like you have a dynamite in a box buried in your backyard. If you just leave it there and you don't do anything with it, it's going to boom, explode one day. Yeah. So right now you have to go back in that trigger. Yeah, you have to dig out that dirt again, but you're going to get to that box eventually and you're going to stop that dynamite from exploding. Yeah. So it's about kind of going back so you can release yourself of these like maybe old stories that keep with you.
It's like trauma. It's like trauma, right? Like the trauma that you experienced from your childhood or your youth or whatever affects you as an adult.
Oh yeah.
And I will go out on a limb and say most people don't deal with their dynamite.
Yeah. No.
It's buried, so like why?
And they put a flower bed on top of it,
and they assume that all their other issues are related to other things, like their job or someone else or this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, man, go bury that shit up. Yeah, you gotta deal with it. Yeah, it's f***ing hard. I think it's hard. Easy to say, right?
Yeah, it's totally easy. It's easier to say, harder to do. And I'm not saying I'm like the f***ing poster child for it, or that I've mastered this, because I definitely f***ing have it. Because there's. Yeah, I'm sure there's things in my backyard that are still buried, but it's...
But it's about like being mindful
of the fact that
they have it. It's just like actively working on those things. And I think like not our generation or like, this realm, this field or whatever, has just made me think more and more and more about it. And I'm not perfect at it, and I haven't buried everything or unburied.
Dug it up.
I haven't dug it all up yet. Yeah. But knowing that I do want to, and like I know I need to, and going through the things that I've already done, it sucks. Yeah. But it also sucks to suck when you don't do it.
Yeah, it's
so,
true.
And there's your battle.
Yeah, it's true. And there's sometimes I'm sitting with him and I'm just like, and I'll be talking about whatever's going on, and then I'll be like, oh, but I guess I have to go back to that one thing, because if I don't, then the whole thing. Oh, okay. Okay, go. And he's just like, exactly, Katrina, because it's easier, but you have to do the hard stuff, or this same problem is going to keep coming up and coming up and coming up if you don't deal with it. Yeah. And so that's having a mindfulness coach kind of keeps you, it's like having a teacher as well, somebody that calls you out on your shit. Yeah. That's just oh, really? You thought you could do that one thing, but you haven't figured out the lesson over here yet? Oh, really? You tried to go 2 steps ahead, now you're 5 back? I wonder how that happened. Oh. I wonder if you just listened to me and worked on your shit, maybe you wouldn't be here, So, but he's great, and he's really, he talks, and he'll swear, and he'll, he's just, so blunt, and he keeps you accountable. And that's
Do you see him, in person only, or is it an online relationship as
well?
Phone
call or in person.
Cool.
Yeah, I try to go up when I can and when the schedule allows, because going to Stratford is a day event.
Yes.
But otherwise, sometimes we'll schedule a phone call and then I just e-transfer him. And, get the whole thing.
The whole yada.
Because being mindful in spirituality, you still got to make a buck.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
I want you to tell people about your experience going to see a medium and your experience with everything.
I've seen a medium a few times.
Okay, well, the one I watched on your YouTube channel.
Okay. So Blair Roberts.
I mean, you can tell whatever story you want,
girl.
girl.
I have seen some shit. So, yeah, I might have seen Teresa Capito like 4 times.
Like 4 times?
Like 4. Only 4.
What is that? I've never been. That's a lie. I went to the Psychic Expo. I've been to the Psychic Expo.
Oh,
so it's like it's a room full of people, right? I feel like it might be different, but I have gone twice. I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
But
no, it totally does.
Okay.
I totally got my aura read at one of those too. It was the best thing to put your hand on a thing. I don't know how it works, but it works. It's real. Anyways, so yeah, I've seen Teresa Capito 4 times. I've seen Colette Baron Reed once, Blair Robertson once. I saw a medium, like had a one-on-one reading once.
Yep.
When you go see like a medium in like an event space, it's kind of you sitting in an audience with like 200 plus other people, depending on where it's at. And they kind of rapid fire. So at first they explain like what their gift is and how it works. Mm-hmm. And then from there they just like whatever comes through, they pick up on it. So it's like, I'm picking up on a male soul and they would go for like details, who wore overalls and, had red hair and I don't know, somewhere over here, I feel like that's where he's pointing to. Mm-hmm. And is this you? No, he's telling me it's not you. Is it you? Okay, I'm talking to you now. So it's a male figure. It's like a grandfather, father figure. What is this person to you? Like, and then they'll establish the connection and then they'll like tell the message that they're trying to get through.
Wow. Okay.
And then it's like, okay, good. All right, on to the next one. And then the next spirit or whatever. Yeah. It might take time in between or whatever. Yeah. And then messages and whatnot. And I believe in all that stuff.
Have you always believed, like, have you always been like, mm-hmm. there was no skepticism for you at all?
No.
I always, I've gone to the Psychic Expo for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
I have an invested interest in, the chakras. And I've done Reiki.
Sames.
I consider myself an open-minded skeptic.
Okay, fair.
My intuitive natural reaction is to be skeptical.
Okay, fair.
That's my natural reaction. But in my experiences have consecutively made me more open-minded each time. And I'm like internally I just want I do want to, I don't know why I can't get past like this slight little like layer of like skepticism.
Well, I think it's good to have a layer of skepticism because like sometimes I do too, because sometimes I'll walk up to a table, say the Psychic Expo or like whatever feeling I get from something and I'm just like, this doesn't vibe well with me and I don't really know if you know what you're talking about or you're just playing bullshit because you're trying to get some money out of the people here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like,
so I'm still like
because it's turned into a business now, right? So like part of me is like, there's 1,000 there's 1,000 photographers. Yeah. But like some of them didn't go to school or don't have a good camera and don't really know what the they're doing, but they're still making money. Yeah. So like I feel like part of me is like I wonder how like it's all about like that feeling. And I've been in like rooms and like conferences where I'm like, this seems like super hokey and this doesn't make sense to me and I feel really weird. But then I've been in places where I'm crying. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I have that like internal battle of figuring it out. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It's just hard because I understand that. Yeah. I feel like even from a young age when I'd watch like scary stories about like ghosts and stuff like that, I'm like, that's real. And no one could, well, I was 5, I wasn't swearing, but like that's real and no one can tell me otherwise, and whatever. And you watch those like real story haunted house stuff and I'm just like, I believe that. So like from a very young age, I was like, ghosts are real. Yeah. Spirits are real. And you can't tell me otherwise, especially if you like grew up any kind of religiousness because all they talk about is like spirits. Yeah. Okay. So like they're there. Like you can't tell me otherwise. I've never seen I don't watch scary movies. I've always been nightmares. Scared of all of that stuff. So I wonder if that's why. Because I have I'm scared of it. Oh yeah. It freaks me out. Maybe. Oh yeah. I will not. Yeah, it might. Oh, it might be. Like I have some because I feel there is bad juju stuff out there. I really do. Bad dynamite about this, and I just don't know, and I just haven't uncovered it yet. Yeah, maybe it was a past life thing. You never know. Ooh, I read this thing recently about like birthmarks and like how they are like a scar of your past life. No. And that's cool. If it is, I don't know. But I read this article about like if you have a birthmark, what it might mean, and I have this this massive birthmark. I have a massive birthmark on my back. It's white. It's very like almost translucent.
Okay.
But it's in the shape of like a country. It looks like it's in the shape of whatever country it would be. I'm like, I wonder if that's where I died in my past life. And I like want to know. I want to be like, can someone look at this?
Sierra.
Can anyone?
Whatever.
Or like, did I get stabbed there? I don't know.
That's
I have all these
my
like.
brother has a birthmark, and it's in his hair, and he has a patch of white hair. Yeah.
Well, see now.
So it's like what you have, but like in his hairline. Yeah.
See, then I just like I just read that recently on some Facebook article, and then I started researching. I was like, this is really interesting.
Yeah, this stuff is really interesting.
I just want to know that. I just want to know.
Right, and that's why I became obsessed with it, because it was just like, okay, he's gone. What's next? Yeah. I need to know. Yeah. Like, where did he go? Like, yeah, it's just that.
Yeah. Where are you at now with like that experience?
What experience?
Where do you believe? Do you have like a foundation of where do you think people go after they pass?
Oh, I believe there's for sure a heaven.
Okay.
I don't believe that there's a hell.
Okay.
Because I feel like we kind of are in hell right now. Like, yes, we have good moments. I'm not saying life is but I feel like the human experience, like you're like, okay, so in my mind, we are spiritual beings trapped in human bodies having human experiences.
Got it.
So, you know, can you imagine being this like spirit that was never contained in a vessel, that, you know, just came from this like beautiful place, and now all of a sudden we're trapped in a body that can be hurt and killed and, you know, whatever. I just, you know.
No, that's so interesting to think about.
Like, if you think about it that way, it's just like, this might be kind of hell and we just don't realize it, you know? I don't know. Like, you know how some people think that, like, we are just, like, this, That
kind of put, like a lump in my throat.
Right? Could you imagine? But do you know how people think, like, we are just, like a module? Like, we are, like, this, like, technical experiment thing? Like, it's kind of like, if you're playing along with that line, kind of the same thing. Like, could you imagine this now? Like, I believe he is a spirit.
Yeah.
I believe he's out there watching. I believe I get signs from him. I believe other people get signs from him. I believe he's out there, and he's just like this wonderful little loving little spirit that's just like floating around always. Yeah. You know? So, and just wants the best for me and his family and his friends, and is just there over, you know, looking over everybody.
Mm-hmm. I had like my first. I think this also helped me in my own spirituality. Mm-hmm. I had interviewed my own grandmother before she had passed, like maybe 5 years. I had interviewed her 5 years ago. She passed this past year. Mm-hmm. And I was looking back on all the footage and cutting it together to show the family. And she ended up, I didn't even remember, because 5 years ago I was in no realm of spirituality at all. Yeah. And she says to me in the I'm interviewing, and she says, you've probably never had a vision, have you? You're probably too young. And I was like, excuse me, what? I was watching this going, did she say this? I don't remember having this conversation.
Yeah.
And she starts talking to me about, she was in surgery and she had passed on the table, and her experience going into the afterlife and seeing her mother, and then looking over at her body on the table, and like this whole thing. Yeah. And then when she passed, that story and that like, that understanding of like afterlife gave me such comfort in knowing like it sucks. Yeah, when someone passes, it sucks and it hurts, and all of that is going to happen regardless. Yeah. But there was like some weird thing that I was just like, you know, she's like somewhere else and she's safe. And when hopefully I get to see her again. Yeah. It just gave me such a layer of peace.
I understand that fully. I totally understand that when you just, it gives, because I feel like that's why I like really dove into that. Where do you go after you're dead? Like, is he still around? Because I needed to know that. I needed to know that one day I would see him again. Mm-hmm. And one of the things, that kept me going. A lot of the times when I was in my dark, depressed black hole that, you know, I didn't want to come out of and didn't see a point of coming out of. Mm-hmm. What a lot of the times what kept me going was just believing in the fact that, like, okay, I'm going to see him one day though. Yeah. I'm going to see him one day, and I'm just going to live my life right now. And then when it's all over, I'll get to see him again. Yeah. You know, and at the time I had no motivation to do anything with my life. Yeah. Right. So, but just a lot of things that kept me going. Yeah. You're going to see him again. Or like, he'd probably be really pissed that, you know, whatever, you know, like, you know, I think about that sometimes. Yep. I'm like, well, what do you think about this? You know, when I, Like, yeah, there's so many times I've thought of like,
yeah.
oh my God, he probably thinks I'm a f***ing idiot. Like, oh my God, he's probably thinking this right now.
Oh
and,
my gosh.
When I get signs or stuff like that, it's like,
Yep.
okay, he's here.
Yep.
I'll be okay.
Yep.
And then especially if I get like in my dreams I see him and I get even if it's a dream or like a visitation, because I think that's a thing as well. Yep. That's like another like comforting thing.
Yes.
It's like, oh, okay,
yeah.
he's okay.
Yeah.
And he still loves me.
Yeah.
And, like that was a lot of things too. I just need to know, like, does he still love me?
Yeah.
Like, is that a thing? Because I still love him.
Yeah.
And like there's still always going to be, like, I still do believe there's a piece of my heart that's never going to come back.
Right.
Like that's...
Yeah.
That was my first love.
Yeah.
That was like the dude I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, and then he got ripped away from me.
Yeah.
And I totally lost a bit of myself that day, and I know that'll never come back. But yeah, it's just, it's nice knowing that one day, and nice believing in the fact that, one day there's going to be this reunited and it feels so good.
There's the comedic break that we needed for that very
Jesus,
deep
it's
moment.
getting hot in here. God damn it.
We'll take a sip of water.
Yeah, it's just water break. Thank you.
Yeah. Tend to get a little deep here on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right, let me see what we're working with.
Yeah.
Oh, I do want to talk about this. You wrote on your intake form, you said you feel like you've lived 5 lives within your 30 years.
Yeah.
What are those different like how is it just like so much?
Well, you could probably relate to this. I feel like anybody could relate to it. But I feel like I've lived 5 lives because you go through your stages of life when you're like a toddler, then a kid, then like a preteen, then a teenager, then early 20s, then mid 20s, then late 20s, then I'm 30. But who I was in my 20, like when I was 20 is a different person than who I was when I was 30. Like what I envisioned for my life. Like if somebody told me at 16 that, when you're 30, you would have experienced like one of the worst things anybody could experience, and you're going to have this YouTube channel, and it's going to really suck for 5 years, or it hasn't really sucked for 5 years. It's really sucked for like 2.5, almost 3. So I would be like, what? Because I write that because I went to university. I thought I was going to go to school. Like, first of all, I didn't want to go to university. I wanted to like spend the summer backpacking through Europe after high school. So that wasn't a thing. So like high school was its own little like weird bubble of time, and university, when I started going to university and doing film classes and stuff, I thought I was going to move to Toronto one day and become this like filmmaker. And like, I did network in Toronto, and I did work on sets in Toronto. And then I realized one day, yeah, thank you. Yep. Not my life. And then I had to work on like other things, and then I thought, who knows what I thought I was going to do with my life. And then I thought maybe, then I put that dream aside and then picked it up one day again and thought, okay, maybe I should. I owe it to myself because I have this degree. I owe it to myself to go try. Yes. And then I thought, no. And then,
I can totally relate to this story so much.
Right? And then I met Mike. And that was an experience in and of itself, right? And then he passed, and that was another life. And now the time after him, when I was like in my grief coma, that's a life. That feels like, sometimes it feels like yesterday, and sometimes it feels like, wow, that was like 20 years ago. Yeah. And then now it's like, okay, the YouTube channel came out, and I've been getting messages and subscribers and likes and comments and stuff like that. And it's like, holy hell, I'm like helping people. What the happened here? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. There's like a following here, and like, okay, I wasn't expecting this when I started this, but I guess I'm here now, so let's do it. Like, I was just, it was just something, another thing. So that's why I say when I like feel like I've lived 5 lives, there's just like, there's been like little pockets and bubbles of like who like, okay, I'm going to be this person. And then I realized, no. And I'm going to be this person. No. I'm going to be this person. No. And so now I'm like 30 and I'm like, I think I want to be this person now.
And who knows what happens.
Ask me again when I'm like 31 or 30 and a half. And maybe it'll be different.
It's true. I also think that like relates to, we feel like we have to live in this like cookie cutter, all the stages of life that you go through, that you're supposed to go through, yada, yada, yada. And then when you don't, everyone feels, or not everyone, but it makes you feel like if you're not living up to like the societal standards. And I want people to know that like, you don't have to do that. And like, if you want to, that's fucking awesome. And if you do that, like, if you're happy doing whatever you're doing, that's all that matters. Yeah. But it's so hard. I went through like the same film school, yada yada, whatever. Yeah. And it is like different little versions of me along the way, and I keep changing it, and I'll probably change it 12 more times, and that's fine. Yeah. No, it's so true.
there's a cookie cutter thing, and you said something that sparked a thought, and then the thought went away. Cookie cutter, I thought I had to do this one thing.
Like societal standards and the cookie cutter, and then like if you do that, that's okay. And if you don't,
right, yeah. Okay. So I get down on myself a lot because, like, go back to the cookie cutter thing, you think you have to, like, go to university and do all these things, then, you know, you meet the dude, and then you marry the dude, and then you have the kids with the dude, and then you live with the dude, and you have this career, and the other dude has a career, and, like, whatever. Or the woman, whatever.
You ever seen Bill Lebowski?
No.
Oh, his like
they call him the dude. Yeah, I do know that much, and he drinks White Russians. I do know that much. Yeah. You know, you think all these things, and so at this stage, I'm 30. I'm still living with my parents. I'm just went public with like, okay, I'm a photographer now, and then I also have this like internship that I just got too, and it's like, wow, at 30, I look at like other people at my age that are 30 that are married with kids, or divorced with kids, or, you know, living or having a career that they've already been 10 years in. And I'm like, I don't have that. And then I have to think back to the fact, okay, take a fucking breath, Katrina. When you were 25, really thing happened.
Yeah.
And that derailed you for years.
Yeah.
Because you had to take that time off to process to get to where you are right now. So like, there's a lot of times where I have to take a moment for myself and just like remind myself that like, hey, remember that really bad thing that happened to you? Can you just like take a moment and like congratulate yourself for the fact that you are so far away from those like dark moments that you had?
Yeah. That
when you were in those dark moments, you could never even see how you would be as a human.
Yeah, just a life
5 years
period.
later. Yeah, just a life period. Like, so it's a lot of those times, especially my grief too. I had a lot of cookie cutter moments in my grief where I thought, okay, like Facebook is like a thing, right? So when it came out, everyone was posting on Facebook about like photos and like, you know, captioning it with different messages and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I was his girlfriend. Like, I should probably do this right now. I should probably like post something right now. And then like I posted a photo on Facebook of us and like wrote this like thing because I'm like, okay, I guess I should acknowledge it. I guess that's the thing I have to do right now. And that was like a thing. And then, yeah, there was just different moments in my grief where I'm like, why am I not farther along yet? Like, you know, when you feel like you've done some work and then something happens where you get triggered and like a grief wave hits you and you're like, what the like, why is this still here?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of times I get down on myself like that. And then, I mean, they tell you all the time, like time doesn't heal wounds unless you work with that time, nothing's going to happen. So I had to keep reminding myself that like, and also people tell me like, this is a lifelong thing. Like you're dealing with this for the rest of your life. Yeah. Like this isn't just it happened one time and it's done. Right. It's however long you are alive on this earth, that's how long this is going to be with you. And that's something I have to like remind myself every day. Because I know that, like practically I know that, but to really understand that and like live that way is like really hard. Yeah. It's really hard. So that's another constant reminder I have to have where it's like, you know, oh, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Can
sure.
I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Lost my train of thought. I had the question and then it just disappeared.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Train of thought decision.
What is something looking back? What is some advice that you would give yourself looking back? Would you have done things differently in your process?
Huh. That's a good question. Would I have done things differently? I don't think so. Because I don't even know what I could have done differently. I probably would have told a lot more people to f*** off, if I'm honest.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Right? Too many other things happened in my mind at the time.
Yeah, preoccupied.
Yeah. Well, I say this in my YouTube channel too, like I'm inherently like an angry person. Like my first emotion, I don't cry, I don't get sad, I don't like whatever my first emotion is, like something happens, I'm f***ing angry as shit right now, and I'm gonna tear this place out.
Because you're Italian!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See it.
The Italian like blood just starts to rush to the surface, and it's just like everyone's getting a f***ing backhand right now. I probably would have told more people to f*** off, if I'm honest, because like when somebody told me to like let it go and move on already, I wish I would have looked at that person and been like, get the f*** out of my house right now. Yeah. You know, with the person that sat on my bed to be like, oh, I heard it was suicide. Get the f*** out of my house right now. Like we're no longer speaking. Like I feel like in your grief too, you have to set your own boundaries as well. And what I mean by that is that you almost have to decide some days, what is your day going to look like? And do you have the time for this, or the emotional energy for it, or the physical energy for it, or whatever? There was a moment in my grief where I decided, like, I felt really awkward bringing up Mike around people after he had passed, because I'm like, oh, this is making them uncomfortable. And then I thought to myself, their uncomfortability. I'm the one that lost them, and if I want to talk about him, I will. Yeah. And you just have to be okay with that. So there are definitely some moments in your own grief where you have to decide what's going to work for you and what's going to make things a bit easier on you. And if that means you want to talk about your person more, then you can talk about your person more. Mm-hmm. If that means that, there's one day a week where you're like, I need to shut everything off and do nothing. That's like, you set your own like parameters, I feel like sometimes, and you call the shots in your own grief because it's your grief and it's your experience. Yeah. And yes, you can go get like help and research things on what to do, but like, I feel like you also have to listen to that like internal like thing in your gut that's telling you that like, okay, this is not okay now. And we're going to try to fix this a little bit, or tell this person that we don't like how they're speaking about it. Mm-hmm. And call people out, because how do we learn otherwise? So I wish I probably would have told more people to fuck off. Yeah. Or been like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Yep. Like, shut up. Hey, you're dumb and I hate you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not hate you, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. I probably wish I would have told more people to fuck off, or that they were acting inappropriately.
Yes. Which is fair.
Because, because I think I just fluffed a lot of things off that really bothered me afterwards. And I know, I feel like I just left things off. Yeah. Sometimes where now looking back, I would have been like, no, that girl's a...
Yeah, but you also have your energy put in other places, right? It's like you're not even you're exhausted at that point.
You're not even like a real human. You're
slow. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You have no physical mental energy.
So I want to talk more about like the YouTube channel and like the process, and what has that been like? Like, has that been another version of you, another thing that like you're helping people now? Yeah, it's now like this full circle thing. Yeah, that like. Mm-hmm. Like, so cool.
This is another thing my mindfulness coach helped me out about, and I just remembering it now, and I probably should have said it earlier, but I forgot about it. But when I made the decision to do it, like, I had talked to him about that like a year before I did it. Okay. And I was like, this is something like I've been thinking about doing, but I'm not sure, blah, blah, blah. And when I brought it up again to him, I think it was near the end of last year, beginning of this year, something like that. And he was like, if your intuition is calling you to do this thing, and it's always been calling you to do this thing, and that thought hasn't gone away, that's the universe's way of telling you that you need to do that thing and just get it done.
You're like, oh.
And I like, okay. It's like kind of like a cog in a machine. Mm-hmm. Like I always knew I wanted to do it, but I wasn't sure. Maybe I was like, no, that's a thought. Like, I'll never get it done because I'm a crazy spaz procrastinator and whatever. And it was like one of those moments when he was like, if your intuition is calling you to do that, then you have to go explore that now. And I was like, it's like the cog in the machine just went like, it fit in line. And I was like, oh my God. Oh, and so that was that. And he was like, even if you help one person, and in my mind, and I said it to him, I'm like, but I don't know if is one person enough? Like, I'm just going to do this for one other person out there? Like, yeah, but what
I started to interrupt, I don't mean to interrupt, but like, it made me just think of you, an hour-ish telling me, like, you didn't have something to look at when it happened to you. Yeah. You're giving your past self that information that now is someone else, but and it is important.
Yeah, and I was just like, like for the one person, like, because I felt like that's a cliche thing to say. Mm. I hate cliches like that. So I was just like, oh, okay. But the process, so I posted it originally. I like felt like I wanted to puke, and my arms like had no bones in them, like that scene in Harry Potter. They just like kind of went away, and they were like, and I wanted to puke again after that thought, and then I wanted to continue puking, and I just felt like when I had never felt so much like in my body in one moment than I did like pressing that like share button on Facebook. Because I'm like, okay, it's real now. Yeah. Like, I'm accountable now because I started this thing and I have to continue with it now. Like,
was it more about that, or was it more about being vulnerable and sharing, or was it a combination of both?
It was like, I think a combination of things. Is I'm like, okay, I'm doing it now. Yeah. But then it's like, all right, people are really going to hear. Because a part of my anxiety after Michael passed away was the fact that everyone knew my like, I got really selected over, like, the people I was adding on Facebook. I think I went through, like, a purge. Like, there was a point on almost every day I was deleting, like, 3 people off of Facebook. Because I'm like, you don't get to know my life anymore. You don't get to know my life anymore. I don't know who you are anymore. Like, I'm sharing some deep shit on this. Like, my life's on display at this point. Like, you're deleted too. Like, I got really selective. So, Oh my god, I do this. I started talking on a tangent, and then I forget the original point of why I was even speaking.
We were talking about like why you felt so like because you were nervous about
continuing
it or being vulnerable.
So just having my on display again, because that was one of the things where I'm like, I became like a private person, and then doing that, everything was on display, and I'm like, people are gonna learn some.
Yeah. What has the experience been like? What has been the reaction?
The reaction's been like pretty great. I'm getting messages from people I don't even know. One of the messages I got on one of the shares was, I lost my boyfriend of 11 years. We weren't married. I just came back from a group like counseling session where I felt like I couldn't relate to any of the people there. And I come home, I turn on Facebook, and she had seen it from like a friend of mine that had shared it. Okay. And she said, I come home, I turn on Facebook, this is the first thing I see. Like this is the first time in the X amount of months that she had been grieving for that, like, I actually feel like understood by somebody, and like, thank you so much. And you have a subscriber. And I was like, like, I couldn't, like, again, like, you just, when you release it, you don't know what's going to happen. Right. So it was just, I don't know. It was really fucking cool, man. Like, it's just like, oh, and I'm getting on Instagram, I'm getting messages from people about like, thank you so much for your YouTube channel. Like, it's helped me so much. I recently lost my boyfriend 12 days ago, or I lost my boyfriend 3 months ago, or 9 months ago, or yesterday, or, you know, and they're all people like me that are just like researching, trying to figure out what the fuck to do now. And coming across my videos, and I'm like, oh, this is why I wanted to do it. I guess. Yeah, this is it. Like, it's kind of,
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah, and it's another thing my mindfulness coach says is about like the shoulds, and I should be doing this or should be doing that or like whatever, and he'll stop me and be like, so you're saying should a lot here? And I'm like, oh, right. Yeah. But the process has been pretty cool, and I've thought about like expanding it as well, but I don't know. That's okay. Just the videos are the videos right now, and I've like thought about reaching out, like, am I at a point where I should hold a seminar? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that where I want to go with things? I have no idea, but yeah, it's nice knowing that I got these messages from people. I'm like, wow, okay, this is cool. Like, I'm helping somebody here, and like,
means something to someone else.
Yeah. And I see people like I follow, like, if I know they have sent me a message and because they found me through whatever way, follow them back on Instagram, and it's nice seeing like their posts or whatever. Some people still post like pictures with them and their boyfriend, and they'll put captions like that's what they're posting right now. That's what their life looks like. Other people post more of their progress stuff about like, I got up today and did my hair, you know, and like that's, I don't know, it's cool because I feel like when you lose somebody, the grief process is it's like a weight, right? Like it's just, and you feel like you can't get up and you can't go do normal things, like. And I said it in one of my YouTube videos where it's just like, if you get up and all you do one day is shower, girl, you've conquered it. Yeah. Like, that's all that has to look like that day. Like, grieving is not about, I'm going to start my day doing yoga, and then I'm going to paint, and then I'm going to go see my therapist, and then I'm going to, you know, hit a punching bag. Oh, punching bag. That was part of my process as well. I bought a punching bag for myself. Because, like I said, I was an angry person. Angry person. And I remember seeing my therapist, my counselor one day, and she was like, I think I just need to be told, like, hey, it's okay for you to go hit something because you're angry. Because I just felt like everyone was, like, journaling and, like, painting and shit. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. But I'm angry, so what do I do with that? What do I do with all this? So I still have a punching bag, like, up in my garage. I took a couple, like, boxing classes and stuff. I love it. Nice. You know, so, yeah, some days, it just looks like you showering or brushing your hair even. Yeah. Or brushing your teeth. And if that's what it is, that's what it is. And oh, well, if somebody has a problem with that. That's what I mean about, like, setting your boundaries when you're going through the grieving process, because everyone has advice for you. Everyone's going to tell you what to do. Everyone's, you know, not everyone, I shouldn't say that, but there's a lot of people that are going to try to give you advice and try to tell you what to do and say things that they probably shouldn't. And if you feel like you need to set a boundary for yourself, that's what you do. Because that's what you do in a regular life scenario, right? Like, you know, my boundary is I'm not going out this week and I'm staying in, and I need people to respect that, or whatever your boundary is. Like, yeah, sometimes you have to do it in grief too.
What's like your number one piece of advice for someone listening that has clicked on listening to this podcast or this video that's going through the grieving process? Like, what would you, whether it's a piece of advice or not, what would you want to say to someone from your experience?
That if you are going through something similar to what I've gone through, and you've lost your significant other, and you weren't married per se, because this is what I felt a lot when I first lost Michael is that you were validated. Your relationship was real, and that was a real thing that you lost. And just because there wasn't a ring on your finger doesn't mean that's any less real, and that doesn't mean that you are less than anybody else who lost a husband or wife. That you are real, your feelings are real, and I validate you. And you are allowed to feel what you are feeling, and don't let anybody make you feel like you shouldn't be feeling the way you're feeling. Because that's f***ed up. So that's my one piece of advice.
By Ninni.
By Ninni. Dash Ninni Marie. Dash Michael Scott.
No, that's good. I want to wind down to our last final 5 questions if we get to them, because sometimes we don't. Okay. LOL buzzword. What are you most grateful for? And I'm gonna ask you. I was like, maybe I'm not gonna ask her, and then I was like, no, I'm definitely gonna ask you now, because I'm gonna make you do this.
Yeah. If you're cringing asking me, it's mean you probably should. Yeah.
Those things we should do.
Yeah. What am I grateful for? Honestly, I'm grateful for my family and friends and my circle of peeps, because if I didn't have them when I was going through the grieving process initially, I would not be here today. Mm-hmm. That is a for sure fact. That is, I live at home with my parents. I can only imagine what it looks like to look at your daughter who is going through this. Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what it was like for them to watch my video on my suicidal thoughts. I can only imagine. And I'm so grateful for the fact that I was still living at home and I could take time off from work and whatever else to help heal myself. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't have those people that were just showing up just to hang out, mm-hmm. or make sure I ate that day or whatever else, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. It's not about where you are or what you're doing. It's always about the people that you're with. Exactly. But I have to analyze your body language, because the question, when I asked you about what you were grateful for.
I'm all crossed
this
up.
This is the first time in the interview. Everything else has been this.
Yeah.
The first time I asked you what you're grateful for, you're crossed off.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You can be grateful, man. You can be
okay to have emotions, you dragon lady. Jesus. I know. It's just it's like I said, the whole great...
It is.
Here's the whole thing about gratefulness. It's really great.
Mm-hmm.
I know it works for people. Mm-hmm. I know there's science behind it. Mm-hmm. When I hear gratefulness, being grateful for gratitude, I'm better with it now. Mm-hmm. I know my body just went... I'm better with it now, but it just... in my mind, it attaches itself with this idea that everything is love and light. And I feel like there's a lot of wellness people out there that just preach the love. That's why I love your Instagram accounts, because you talk about the bad with the good.
Yep.
And life's about balance.
Yep.
And life's not all about love and light. Because if it was, I wouldn't have my YouTube channel. There'd be no reason for my YouTube channel if everything was love and light.
Yeah, exactly.
Life is about balance. There's death, there's life, there's happy, there's sad, there's good with bad.
Yep.
And so when I hear
it's
the gratefulness, it's with that. And the people that only preach the good, you're really doing a disservice for everybody else, in my opinion.
100%. It's because you make people that feel left out, and guess what? Everyone feels like
yeah. There's no way you
should be
surprise. Why am I being excluded for having feelings? Yeah. I'm a human. Sorry, the audio peaked again, but.
It's funny, just recently in my writing in my gratitude journal, but I started writing things that I don't have. I'm grateful for the things that I don't have yet, and I'm grateful for the things that I didn't get. I'm starting kind of with that mindset of being it's not all fucking hunky-dory all the time.
Sunshine and rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah. You know what? And it kind of maybe takes some perspective to come with that, but yeah, I'm grateful that I felt like shit 2 weeks ago and ate 3 muffins. Yeah. You know why? Because it made me go, I need to stop doing that. I don't feel good. And now I know that I shouldn't eat 3 muffins. Yeah. That's such a simplified
version, but whatever. If that's what your self-care looked like that day, that's what your self-care looked like that day as well. So, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 muffin makes my stomach just hurt. So 3 muffins could be a lot. Yeah. But nonetheless, it's super important. That's the whole point of Lemon Soul. everything, like, life is gonna be sour. That's the whole point. I say this every podcast, so we're not even gonna go into it. You guys all know what Lemonsoul is by this point. If you don't, well, look at me.
Welcome.
What activity makes you lose track of time?
Talking.
Life.
I went to go visit a friend recently, and I hadn't seen her since before I left for Europe, and went there at 3, and I had to leave by like 6, and it was like 6:30, and I was like, oh fuck. Like,
was it Caitlin? Because the two of you talking together? Oh my god. Longest storytelling session of my life, probably. Oh my god, I couldn't even imagine. That's hilarious.
No, it was not Caitlin. It was my friend Vanessa. Caitlin. But it just, I don't know, like we just sat at our kitchen table and just like gabbed. Like editing.
Yep.
Holla. I don't know. I just feel like time is an illusion, and that might be another woo-woo thing, but like if you don't believe time's an illusion, then like, let's say like, oh wow, today flew by fast. Yeah, it's because time's an illusion, bro. Like,
love it. I love it.
I don't know. So I feel like time works differently for me. I feel like a simple task would take somebody 10 minutes, takes me like 3 hours. So everything just like.
And then something really hard probably doesn't take you as long.
Yeah. Or like I would like Katrina, like just do your laundry today, and then I'm doing my laundry before I know it. I'm cleaning up my closet. I'm reorganizing my closet. I'm recycling in my room. I'm dusting. I'm taking like a paper towel to like the windowsill, getting the dirt out of it. Like I find work for myself. Yes. So a simple task takes me 3 hours.
I love it. What have you read online recently that inspires you or has inspired you?
So obviously we have the federal election coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You shared the thing from McLean's about like where each party stands, and like part of me with my YouTube channel and doing videos, part of me wants to be like, should we be doing a video on the federal election this year? This is a pretty like big one. We have some people that want to be in power that probably shouldn't be in power, and people that are in power right now that it might be not the greatest choice, but it's better than the other guy over there. And like, should we be more vocal about this right now? Yeah. Because I feel like living in Windsor, we're so attached to Detroit things.
Yes.
And what's happening politically in the States that we forget about our own electoral process, our own government processes and stuff like that. And not to say that I know everything. At one point I was going to be a poli-sci minor. But fun fact, all you need to do to be a minor is take only 6 courses in one thing.
Yes.
And that's scary to me.
Yeah, LOL, I wanted to minor in philosophy. Actually registered it online. I went to one class and then dropped it, and then unregistered to minor from philosophy, because like that was hard.
Yeah, like no way. I think I had like 4 classes in, I only had to do 2 more, and I was like, I don't want to have to write another 35-page paper. Anyways though, so I think what's inspired me recently is just like seeing people post about the federal election, but like seeing the lack of those posts as well, and I just want to know more. Because that's great what's happening. It's great, but it's like we see so much more of what's happening in the States.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's probably not as more of a spiritual thing, but yeah.
Just a side note. Be inspired. Everyone should go vote, just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, final question.
Yeah.
I've never asked this question on the podcast, and it's fun. And you're like so charismatic, and like I'm so excited. Okay.
Gosh,
if you could take a single all right. If you could take a single photograph of your life, what would it look like?
A complete mess, Sierra. Composition out the window. Good exposure? Nope. There's dark spots, there's shadows, there's lights. What would it look like? So are you saying in a sense of like...
It's whatever you want to take it as.
It's this emoji. Just the I don't know emoji. It's
the this. This is an audio recording.
Yeah. It's this. Sorry, podcasters. It would look like a complete mess, I feel like. I feel like there'd be blurry spots, there'd be spots in focus. Yeah, there'd be harsh shadows and harsh lights. There would be I feel like on the edge of the frame, you'd see people only half in the photo, like representing the people that like I had to let go of in my life. There'd be people like stark in focus, because those are the people that would be super important to me. It'd probably be like in some like Italian Riviera area, dreams and hopes. I would have 8 different arms symbolizing the amount of things I want to get done in a day, but just don't. I don't know.
Can someone draw this for Ninni and post it on Instagram, please? Because I'd be so happy.
I don't know.
I should start asking this all the time and have people sketch them.
Yeah.
That would be
Do
amazing.
we have any artist friends that
oh my
just,
God.
you know, could just put this together? Photograph in real life, what would it look like? Yeah, it would look like a complete mess. And whatever I would think of it right now, it would be different in like a year.
New version.
Yeah.
New version.
New version.
All right, last but not least, tell people where they can find, or did we cover everything, first of all? Is there anything you want to talk about that we didn't talk about?
I feel like we went on like so many tangents during this, and probably lost a lot of people just because we talked about some spirituality things.
Oh, yeah. And you don't have to be like, no, we covered everything, because everyone does that. Like, you can take time to like think about.
I feel like, did we cover enough? Did we talk about grief enough? Did we do these things enough? Did I,
we'll never know.
If somebody watched this to learn more, Jesus. If somebody watched this to learn more about grief, I don't even know if I've helped you, but
I'm here sitting talking to you, and I can say yes.
Okay. Okay. But if you feel like you need more, and you want to visit my YouTube channel, it's Ninni's Thoughts. So youtube.com/NINNIS thoughts. Spelled. I just burped, I'm sorry. Spelt the regular way you spell thoughts. Oh my God. Do you see what I mean in the beginning when I was like, I am just a comic relief person, and anyways, yeah, so if you feel like you wanted to learn more about grief stuff, I will be doing more videos specifically on the topic of dating, because I've had a few people ask me about that. Like, what happens now? And I'm like,
what's next?
What's next?
Yeah.
And I would say to that, another piece of advice is that you're going to believe that the universe hates you and just wants to shit on you after you go through this. And you're going to meet people in the future that might seem like really great ideas, and you'll probably discount yourself and discount your worth to make them happy. And just think about, if the person that you lost, that you loved, could see you dating this person, would they really approve of that? Would they really think that they're treating you like you should be treated? Because you're really going to believe that the universe hates you and that it just wants to shit on you. But I promise you, you deserve better. And you will find that one day. And it's really hard to let go of people when you've already lost somebody in a really traumatic way. But keep moving forward, because you do deserve to find happiness one day. You just do. Period.
I just, like, if these mics weren't attached, I would just drop it. Just like, yeah. We just get this off.
Yeah.
No, that's a perfect way to end, man.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course,
this was really fun.
I'm so glad.
And like anytime you want to just like chat and film it.
I just think you should
record
have a podcast also. You know, just food for thought.
Just refer for that.
You know, what else?
Okay.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, cool.
That was so good. Oh my God,
I don't know. Is that what
it.
a podcast is? I have no idea.